Should I even be reviewing this? Is the honest question. It's been talked about a tremendous amount. It's well loved. You know that I love it. What is there more to say? Well, I guess that I imagined that some people might be interested in what I had to say about it, because I do mention it a lot, and I mention it quite a lot at this current time. It's a funny fragrance in the way of when it was released, people were sort of like, oh, right, well, it's Tuscan leather again, but simpler. And it was actually the Signature Collection's version of Ombré Leather 16, which was done by Sonia Constant, who has a background in leather fragrances. She actually did Golden Boy by Duetto, which is something that I always talk about a lot. So people were like, oh, right, well, Tuscan leather, but like simpler. Well, I mean, great, I guess, but people weren't that enthralled. But people didn't hate it. People just thought it was there. But it's now taken 4 years, 3 to 4 years, for people to now go, oh, you know what? I get it. Sometimes I don't want to wear Tuscan leather all the time. Sometimes I want a more refined, more stripped back, more straightforward version. And they're happy with that. And I feel that way, actually. I know that my friend Peter from Fragrance View's favourite fragrance of all time is Tuscan leather. And I liked Tuscan leather. I really respect it for what it is. It's a great fragrance. But it was a bit too much for me. It was a bit too aggressive. It was a little bit too jarring, and it was a little bit too mature for me, when I first smelt it when I was like 18, 19. And that just didn't work. So over time, I've gone to appreciate Tuscan leather, but this is a more user-friendly Tuscan leather. This is more up my street. So let's start with presentation. Beautiful bottle, absolutely beautiful bottle, just stands out so well. Such a great, I love anything that has just really straightforward kind of simple shapes, and that just kind of gives it a real kind of sophistication and a practicality when you look at it. It's very interesting when it comes to design like that. Great bottle, fantastic, and it's simple, straightforward, looks practical, looks interesting, and isn't gimmicky, which is just great. Love the bottle so much. It's actually one of the highlights of owning it. That's a 5 out of 5. So the scent itself, let's talk about that. I mean, is there too much to talk about? Have we already talked about that a million times over? Sorry, it is raining, if you can hear that. But yeah, it's Tuscan leather, basically. But you take out the really sort of harsh, chunky, nasty bits, which adds to the charm of Tuscan leather, no doubt. It's great, but you take out the chunkiness, if that makes any sense, and you take out the more aggressive, sort of ruder elements that can be. Honestly, Tuscan leather to me, I'll never forget it. It smells like, I don't know if any of you have like an open fire with a chimney and everything like that. Well, in Scotland we had an open fire, and every now and then we'd have to get somebody to come in and clean it and do like the soot cleaning, and the soot would fall down, right, and just give off this smell of smoke and a bit of fire, but coal, smoke, fire, and a ton of coal, and maybe some wood in there. And for the love of God, that's Tuscan leather. That is Tuscan leather to a T. Now, another thing that Tuscan leather apparently smells of is, I'll just be very blunt with you, cocaine. And this is a true story. I went to Brighton Film School, and in Brighton, it's not my thing, it's really not my thing, but, drugs are plentiful, right? And so there was a certain gentleman, I won't name him, he did have some cocaine on him, and I remember saying to him, mate, could I don't want to snort it, for the love of God, but I would be intrigued to smell it, because apparently it smells like a fragrance, and really weirdly it does. In fact, it smells more like this fragrance, because it's actually cleaner, if you can believe it. What am I talking about? Anyway, so yeah, Ombré leather is mostly a saffron note with some really good solid rounded edges of things like a leather accord, which is more really just woods and sandalwood and all that kind of stuff, cedarwood. It's an amalgamation of different wood molecules. But the big thing is the saffron, and there is actually an aroma chemical that I know the name of that is prevalent within this fragrance that makes it all work together and all cohesive, but I can't remember it at this moment in time. I'm pretty certain it's Sonia Constant who did this. She's not listed on the Fragrantica website, but she did do Ombré Leather 16, and this basically is Ombré Leather 16. So Sonia did a great job. She learnt a lot of lessons from Golden Boy. Golden Boy was great, but it sort of had a few missteps in my opinion. It was a bit too much. It was a bit too sweet. It was a bit too fruity, and I'm glad that Tom Ford gave her the opportunity to kind of right those wrongs in a way and just make a very, very streamlined, straightforward fragrance. Why is this so good? Why is this so brilliant? It's really simple. It is so straightforward. It really is. It is what you get, right? You spray it on, right? Okay, and then you just go forward. You get that saffron note. You get this warmth about it. You get that sort of spiky, fiery leather accord that smells very gentlemanly. Smells as though you're wearing a suit. Smells like money. Really smells as though you make a lot of money. And you put that on, and you're just really, really good to go. And it's just beautiful. It's spiffing, as we say here in Great Britain, and there's just so much that goes into it that makes it smell formal, makes it smell mature, makes it smell as though, like I said, you've made some money in your life, you know where you're going with your life, you know what the hell you're doing, and it just creates that fantastic sort of connotation around you. Just brilliant, just masterfully done. Work of art and a testament to the fact that sometimes the best fragrances are the most simplest fragrances, and that's something that I keep learning over and over and over and over again in this fragrance journey. So projection and longevity is interesting. Projection is not as wild as maybe I'd want it to be. I'd want it to be a little bit more. You know, it's like a 3 out of 5. I get a decent scent cloud. People, if they're in my space, can smell me, but I wouldn't mind it a little bit more. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind a little bit, just a bit more of a punch. But it's not like that, and maybe that's a testament to the whole sort of calm, quiet confidence thing that it's trying to do. But yeah, 3 out of 5, I'd say. But the longevity is really good, 10 to 12 hours. Yeah, pushing to 12 hours most days, even in cold weather, like really quite cold weather. That's like 4 out of 5. So overall, the performance is really, really solid. It's not exactly strong, but it's solid, and I'm happy with that. So overall, this is kind of something that's a bit of a must-have for me at the moment. It's something that I wear a lot. This was, I believe, number 1 on my fragrances I cannot stop wearing list, because it's very straightforward, very simple. What you see is what you get, and just has a lot of great elements, and I enjoy wearing it, really enjoy wearing it. And I really enjoy wearing it at this stage of my life where, I own a business now. I want to give the impression that I actually know what I'm doing, even if I don't, even if I'm sort of making it up as I go along. You want to kind of give that impression, and one of the best ways that you can do that, apart from just looking good and dressing well, is of course smelling good. But to smell a certain way and smell a certain, that's a great list idea, isn't it? 10 fragrances to smell like 10 fragrances to give off the impression that 10 fragrances to give off the impression that you know what you're doing. Which I clearly don't. I can't even speak. Anyway, yeah, great, and I could recommend it to pretty much anybody over the age of 25 who, so it's just phenomenal, fantastic, and a phenomenal fragrance. Anyway, I hope you got what you wanted out of this video, and if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm the Fragrance Press. I'm out.